Hello, guys. My name is Jay Bell. I am your host for the Women in Filmmaking panel for the Indie Film Fest 2021. As you can see, we're doing this virtually. I would love to do this in person, but obviously, COVID has really taken over really the whole country. So we have to do everything differently. I have some wonderful women on this panel. This is my first time doing it. And when I was thinking of it, I just went through the list that Maddie sent me of Mango Skies production. Thank you so much for having me. And these are the three ladies I've had. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, starting with B. Monét.
All right. Thank you so much for having me and all of you wonderful women. It's always great to just meet phenomenal folks who are paving the way for different people. I am a writer director, mostly direct commercials. Soon we'll be doing a lot of feature films and working in towards that space. So I'm just happy to be here and to learn a lot about you ladies. So thank you.
And the film that you have in the film festival?
Yes, Ballet After Dark definitely was a labor of love, but is about a young woman who unfortunately experiences sexual assault one night. And so she basically creates this organization to help sexual abuse survivors, deal with their trauma through dance. So thank you again for having me.
No problem. Thank you. Next up, we have Kalia Love Jones.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm the writer, director, and producer of the animated short film Power of Hope, which tells the story of a young girl who dreams to become an architect, but as she's trying to reach that goal, all these obstacles are getting in her way, but through the power of hope, she's able to achieve her goal.
And you're how old? And you're already doing writing, producing, and directing. How old are you again?
I'm 14.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
I
What?
know. So young and already putting herself out there. I love it. And last, we have Jessica Ramirez.
Hi everyone. It's so great to be here with all of you. You both are amazing. And I am the director of the short film Endure, and it's a story about a girl who is going through a loss of her friend. And she has a dream to become a basketball player, and it just shows her journey as a girl, just standing strong and just going through difficulties, chasing that dream. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you. Thank you, ladies, all for being here. I know you could have been anywhere else. And I think a couple of you are in the middle of still filming and whatnot before you even get started. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to do this. This is going to be an hour-long panel. And like I told you before we started even recording, I plan on having some fun with you guys and you guys really telling your stories the way they should be told. So we're going to jump right into it. And I want to know your journey as a filmmaker, starting with B. Monét.
Sure. And that's crazy. You're 14. That
I
makes my
know.
heart so happy. In high school, I very much was doing like journalism and video production classes and just like trying to like figure out this thing called storytelling. So I went to Spelman College, thought that I wanted to be a journalist. And then when I went and studied abroad, I was like, actually, I don't think that's what I want to do. I actually think I want to do film. My parents thought that I had lost my mind. And so I told them that I wanted to be a filmmaker. And from then, I've just been pursuing it ever since. It's definitely been a challenge as a woman of color in this industry, but I also wouldn't want to be doing anything else. Have kind of bopped around like after going to grad school, worked at Beyonce's production company, taught documentary filmmaking, have done all sorts of odd jobs. So I just say that to say, if this is something that you want to do, just know that sometimes it doesn't come right away. But if you can just plant yourself on that vision that you have of yourself, directing, because now it is more possible for women of all colors to be doing that. Film is still a very new art form, and especially for women of color. So I'm just happy to see y'all like on this panel. I'm just like, yes. So yes, that is.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Jessica, how about you?
Yeah, so well, when I was like in middle school, I discovered iMovie, which is like an editing program, and I just
Mm-hmm.
fell in love with like putting images together and tell a little story. And since then, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a film director, and I just started like just creating different stories and filming them. But when I really fell in love with it was when I was going through a hard time, like just having a lot of self doubt and low self esteem, but I use filmmaking as a way to just express myself, to create characters that were struggling with similar things that I was struggling, and just conquer it. And that was a very powerful thing. And that's what I want to continue doing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to hear it. And iMovie is definitely a beginner for any
Yeah.
filmmaker or anybody that's in video production, especially if you have a Mac. Because I've done the same thing too. I started out with iMovie and just progressed forward. So I love hearing stories like that. And last, Kalia, how about you? I know you're only 14, but obviously you have a story for why you got started in the first place.
For me, I think I've always just loved filmmaking and loved stories. Um, like I've always loved watching movies and TV shows, especially like animation and drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I always knew that I would become a filmmaker or do something in the industry. And this is just my first film.
This is your first film?
I know.
Wow.
I'm just like,
Right. I'm sorry. You are a teenager. Obviously, you're getting older. I don't want to keep making it seem like you're like super super young, but you are. And the fact that you're already taking these steps to do something so big in your career, when most of us are probably like liking boys and getting ready to have our first kiss or something like that. At least I was when I was 14. When I was 14, I wasn't doing what you were doing, and so it's just a wow factor in hearing that and hearing young girls that are like really taking a lead in what they want to do in their life so early. Next question: your biggest lesson you have learned as a woman in filmmaking. Anybody can go first.
I'm thinking.
Well, while they're thinking, I'm gonna tell you this: when before I even got into radio and as a media personality, I actually dabbled in film first. Was a production assistant on not a short film, but an independent film, and I wanted to do screenwriting. I wanted to be a producer, a director, and so I went to school for it the second time around. And once I got into a screenwriting class, I was like, "Ooh, no, it's not me." That wasn't me. Screenwriting's really hard, so I definitely applaud you ladies
Woo!
for that. I'm more on the producer director side, but I realized that filmmaking is really an art, and you have to be really patient. And so, knowing that I don't have that gene of being patient, I went into radio completely. I was like, no, radio is for me. I'm a media personality because I'm always on the go. I can't wait around for things to happen like that. Not saying that you ladies are, but you're patient when you're filming. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know how things are going to go. And you really have to adjust and adapt around those type of things if you have a mishap or a change happen like that. So back to my question: biggest lesson you learned as women in filmmaking?
Did you want to go? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Whoever wants to go first.
I think I learned to like believe in myself more. I become more confident over this whole journey, and that me being a woman in filmmaking, a young woman in filmmaking, I could inspire other young girls like me to maybe pursue their dreams or pursue a career in filmmaking, um, and I could inspire people.
I like that.
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, you just never know, like, who's looking up to you. You may be 14, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, that means, yeah, like you're paving the way right now. And that's amazing to me. I would say, also advocate for rates. I'm not sure if y'all want to like move into commercials or do, branded content or documentaries. But as you're advancing in your careers, you know, because we are women of color, sometimes I feel like sometimes the industry just wants to test us in
Mm.
ways that they don't necessarily test the men. And so you really have to be the captain of the ship and be fortified and saying, like, I deserve X amount for my services. You would never put this man through all of the challenges you're putting me through. And so I'm just a big proponent of just like asking for the rate that you deserve and really like saying no to projects. I've said yes to so many projects that, you know, sometimes it's been for money, sometimes it's been for to help family out or whatever. But you know, you want to also be doing work that matters to you. And I don't know, like because some it's like when you say yes to things that you don't really want to say yes to, it always kind of like shows its. I won't curse today because it's Sunday, but it shows out, you know. So just be really intentional about what you're saying yes to and what you're
Mm.
saying no to. The no's might be a big job, but if it means that you're like sacrificing aspects of your storytelling or who you are, then that's not, you know what I mean, something you want to do. So I think those would be my tips that I would say.
I'm glad you said that because my next question is going to deal with that. But Jessica, go ahead and give your answer before we move on.
Yeah, so for myself, directing this film, which it was very close to my heart, I learned that like whenever we have a project that we believe in and that we commit to it, like there's always gonna be like self-doubt, and we always have to face challenges, and I just learned to not give up, because like when I was creating this film, there was a lot of moments where I was like, okay, maybe I should just like not finish it, or I just wanted to give up in certain uh, moments of the process of creating the film. But I didn't do it, and thanks to me finishing that, a lot of new opportunities were open for me. I created a lot of connections with amazing women, and all because I refused to not give up, to finish. So I just learned that anything that you commit yourself to it, you need
Mm.
to finish. And whenever I feel like it's too much, like it's challenging, that's a sign that I'm in the right track, because it's helping me grow and go towards where I'm supposed to be.
And I'm
Yes.
glad you ladies mentioned that, both of you, B Monet and Jessica, because you guys are a little bit older. I'm guessing, Jessica, you're like going towards adulthood. Am I getting that right? Are you already an adult?
I'm an adult, yeah. I'm
Okay,
20.
sorry. I'm sorry. um, as you continue to grow your careers, and like you said, you guys have faced certain hurdles, and you have to deal with certain things, but you push past it. Do you believe that the world of filmmaking and movie making is still a boys club? And when I say that, they try to keep you from telling your stories as women of colors the way they should be told, because we've seen too many times, especially now, even with everything that's happened in the past year, they still have, Caucasians writing and producing and telling our stories instead of having us do that, write our stories the way they should be told. Do you guys still feel that way? And explain why.
Whew, I might be a little long winded, so maybe come to me last.
Well, Jessica, go ahead. You can speak on it, Jessica.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. For me, like personally, I have never worked with like a female cinematographer, or I haven't collaborated with a lot of women still. Like I come from Mexico, and like in the city that I'm from, like there's
Uh-huh.
not really much opportunities to like do filmmaking, and that's why I moved to the United States. And but yeah, like growing up, it's just like when you're learning about filmmaking, it's just most of the times is you're looking up to guys, because it's like what most of the
Mm,
industry is.
right.
They're mostly guys, so uh, it's been it's been a lot of um, a lot of guys within the industry. and just
They kind of like started to erase, like whitewash your history instead of like diving deeper into what you have going on. Is that
Yeah.
kind of like where you're going, what you're saying a little bit?
yeah. So well, what I'm going for is, when you're growing up and you're looking more up to male because there's more male in
Mm-hmm.
the industry,
Right.
then it makes you, because they don't look like you, they don't, their guys are different, so it makes you think, okay, am I able to do this? And I think that's also why a lot of women, like there's women who are not, who don't even pursue that dream of becoming like a film director or being in the
Right.
industry, because we need more representation.
Mm.
100%.
Definitely, representation matters. It matters a lot. Like you said, like you don't see a whole lot of women in this industry. The history starts with men,
Yeah.
and so yeah, you do have a lot of men. I can't even say it. Men, director of photography, directors, producers, just doing all this stuff. And the few women that you do see, they're really hidden behind the scenes versus being up front. Monét, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I think Jessica brings up amazing points. And I think maybe in my subconscious, I gravitated towards journalism instead of film because I saw someone who looked like me. I saw Oprah Winfrey, and I was like, oh my God, Oprah, like, is that the closest thing to being a filmmaker? Because it's like you're getting a chance to interview people, to have these really beautiful moments, like where they're telling you their whole life story. So that felt like the closest to filmmaking, but then that's not filmmaking because that's journalism,
Mm-hmm.
which is a form of storytelling, but it's not like bootstraps, like we're going to do some guerrilla filmmaking. So I really echo Jessica's point of like just feeling like you don't really see yourself. It's like, how can you be a director if you don't even see anyone who looks like you? And
Mm-hmm.
that was my whole thing with going to NYU. I know a lot of people like, oh my God, you went to NYU, but it was a very difficult experience for me. I was very young. I was Black. I was a woman. I'm all these things. And I was
Mm-hmm.
in this space that really didn't celebrate or know how to like deal with me. Like the
Mm-hmm.
first film that I created in film school was about a woman named Sarah Bartman, who basically was paraded around Europe as a freak show. Like basically, white people would pay money to see this woman's physicality. And my classmates thought that I was racist. And so it was a very difficult place to be where I felt like I wasn't one of the favorites. I wasn't a protege of anyone. No one was really looking out for me like that. So I had to really like focus my mind on like, how am I really going to be in an industry that literally is saying that we don't want you? You know what I mean? We don't want
Right.
anyone who looks like you. And it is a boys' club. You know, I have a friend of mine who's like, he's made a film on Netflix. I still haven't made a film. That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to say that I don't have the credentials. It's that I've won so many awards and all these things just so I can have a little bit of a seat at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and that's what I don't think men sometimes really understand, that women have, it's different rules for us. It's
Mm-hmm.
different rules. I mean, even if you want to be a woman who has children and has a family, that comes at a cost.
Right.
So men don't really understand that when they have a woman who's helping to raise the children, as opposed to if you are the woman and you are a director and you're a mother and a wife, your
Mm-hmm.
kids don't want to hear, oh, mommy, you just got, Wonder Woman 54. They want to hear, you're going to be at home to, tuck us in and listen to us and, you know, be there when we have our boo boos. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think I fixate on the fact that art is immortal. Long after we're gone, our work is going to stand for itself. And so, what images are you laying behind? Like, are you leaving behind for the next generation for when you're gone? Because we're all gonna go. So it's like, what do you want to say about the world that's gonna like resonate with someone? And I make a lot of work that is about people who feel unseen and feel like pariahs of the world. So for me, I want people to feel like they're not alone in this thing. So that was kind of like my anchor throughout being at Tisch, because it was a rough. Whew.
I can
I'm not saying that
imagine.
all film schools are, but I just know that my film school experience was, but it
Mm,
was also a boot camp that made me say, you know what, I can do this. If I can go through this experience with all these people that I cannot ooh, okay. I mean, there were some that were gems, but it was few and far between.
right.
But if I could go through this experience,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's also what I needed to prep me for an industry in which it's like 4% of directors are Black women. So maybe I needed this experience in this way. So,
Right. Because again,
yeah.
representation matters. You know, you got to see more of yourself on screen. And the only way to do that sometimes is when we put us on screen versus waiting for somebody else to do that. And as you guys talk about, you know, you see more men in these bigger places than women. And you guys are getting ready to show your films for the Indie Film Fest, or you have at this point. Um, you know, as this airs, what are some of the hurdles that you faced um, over the span of your careers? I mean, I know that you have directed commercials. Jessica, you're still you're working with different opportunities coming up, and Kalia, you kind of are just getting started. This is your first film. What are some of the hurdles that you guys have faced as women filmmakers?
Yeah. I'd love to hear what Kalia has to say about this.
Kalia, if you want to go
Um,
first.
yeah. I think one of the biggest hurdles I had was like a mental hurdle, something I had to overcome. Sorry. I didn't see like a lot of people who looked like me. I didn't see a lot of representation, and I was like kind of scared. And I was worried I wouldn't like be let in or let into the industry, or that the film wouldn't do well. Um, and it was scary. But through this journey, I've learned to be more confident in myself and try doubting myself less. And I I learned not to give up. And it's just I've just learned so much through the process of making this film.
Jessica.
For myself, it's a lot of working on communication because like from a very young age, I've always been very shy and just struggled to like communicate with others and just like being very afraid to talk to people. So for myself, you know, creating this film, which it was also the first film that I directed, it was definitely a challenge having to reach out to the crew, asking them for help. And uh, so yeah, that was like some of the challenges that I faced, just having to communicate with them. And yeah, but just, you know, I learned that as long as you have a vision and you're confident with it.
All right, so you ladies talked a little bit about your hurdles and, you know, the world of filmmaking still being a boys club and not seeing enough of us out there. And so my next question to you all is like, what would you like to see more of in the entertainment industry as a whole when it pertains to creating more spaces for us as women?
Yeah. Um, I know for me personally, I would love to see more people of color, all colors,
Mm-hmm.
black, brown, yellow, this, that, you know what I mean? Purple, green, really doing some amazing things in the industry, not just as actors or directors, but as
Mm-hmm.
cinematographers, as production designers, as costume designers. I mean, you name it. It would just be nice to see the rainbow really like reflected, behind the scenes. And what I try to do on my sets is kind of have like 50-50. So not just to have women, but to also have men of color.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just feels more reflective of the world that it is, like my friends are all sorts of things, straight, trans, gay, queer, and it's just like I don't know why the industry is still taking its time to like find all of these unique voices. I think right now BIPOC, even though I don't even like that term,
Yeah.
is in because it feels very hipster. You know what I mean?
Right.
Black people, folks of color, indigenous folks have been here. And it's just like now all of a sudden, because of Black Lives Matter, now y'all want to act like, oh, well, where are all the people of color in film? We've been here. So I that's one of my hopes. And I mean, I really hope that this is not just like a small, like, tide, but an actual movement, like an actual wave that's going to be around, you know. So
Right. Not like a fad or just like a fashion statement, but for the long term.
exactly. Yes,
Jessica?
definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's very powerful. You know, we definitely need like more representation behind the camera. That's very important. And also like on the things that we create. You know, when we have our space, then we can create and we can raise our voices and other people can hear what we have to say. And you know, I really would like to have more of those stories, more stories with strong female characters and protagonists, and who don't fall into the traditional stereotypical of who are we supposed to be, how we are supposed to look, what are we supposed to
Mm-hmm.
do with our lives, and just, you know, raising our voice and just taking our place.
Mm. And Kalia, as you continue to grow, because I can see you doing big things, what do you
Yeah.
think can be changed now?
Yeah, I agree. I think that representation really does matter, and I really hope to see more representation in the future, both on screen and behind the scenes, and more opportunities for like mentorships and
Mm.
learning from a young age. Just I think all of those things are really important, and I hope to see the film industry grow.
Nice. Well, I love everybody's answers because I agree with you on all aspects. More representation, more presentation, and more of us taking the front lines in a lot of these big, huge film corporations and doing really big things. Now, obviously, I want to hit COVID because of the fact this is what we're doing right now. We're doing the virtual panel versus, being in person and being close to each other and really, diving into each other's aura and space as we ask these questions. It hit us so hard last year, and even now it's still going on. I'm still trying to figure out how all of this is going to, affect us in the long run. What are some of the changes that you guys have had to like adjust and adapt to when you were working on your projects, and even now as you continue to work on new projects?
Yeah. Um, I've had to I had to move back home. Usually I live in New York, but I just felt like it just didn't make sense to live in New York right now when things are like crazy. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
back at home in Maryland. And for a while I wasn't getting any work, which really was disconcerting. And, like, I mean, this is where we are. So I began to teach filmmaking to middle schoolers. Um, through New York Film Academy, which was really great because I think it's always good to like be directing, but it's also nice to like pay it forward and to see what the next generation has and like to just introduce them to images that they haven't seen. A lot of the children that I was teaching are white, and so it was just nice to be like, look at Ryan Coogler's short film that he made, and they've never seen this film. And so it was nice to just introduce them to things that I think they've never seen. So I think I love teaching for that way. And I've done a few directing shoots remotely,
Mm-hmm.
which is different because it's like you got the client on the call. It's weird. It's weird. I'm like, can we get back to directing in person? But and it drains you I don't know. Like, I don't know if anyone else has done remote directing, but it's weird. It's
It's different.
different.
Definitely different. What about you, Jessica?
Myself, before the whole pandemic happened, I was like working on different productions, just like camera assisting or script supervising. But I had to step back from that just because, safety matters.
Mm-hmm.
And also just, I just trying to learn as much as I can within, like in my house, just watching like master classes in cinematography and directing, and just like um, filling myself with a lot of knowledge and doing independent projects where it doesn't require too many people, or just to for
Right.
safety. And also, like, while I'm doing that, while I'm gaining knowledge, I'm also working on like writing a script for a bigger project that I want to direct. So it's just it's just taking it slow and understanding that we are all going through a hard time. We are all, it's affecting us, all of us. And just to know that, I mean, we're gonna figure it out, and it's not gonna be like this forever.
Right. That's understandable. Clea, how about yourself?
Well, I think one of the benefits of animation, like working in animation, is that you can still like work on a film like this even during a time like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is like still my first film. I don't have much to like compare it to, but I think everything would be a lot different. Like I would every interview or everyone I've had to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time it's virtual and over Zoom or a phone call, and but I'm seeing like a lot more animation, which is really cool. But um, yeah, we are all going through a hard time.
Yeah, because basically, like, COVID shut down the entertainment industry as a whole. I mean, you still see people recklessly out there at clubs or doing certain things, or, they're not supposed to be doing. But, some of us live in states where they have like the highest cases, like California, Arizona, um, Texas, Georgia, those states, they have some of the highest cases and people are still going forward. And so, when you're working through this stuff and really trying to get back out to what you're doing, what you love, how has that affected you mentally?
Ooh, come back to me.
Well, whoever would like to answer first, because obviously when you're outside and you're doing what you love, you're in a free fall, it's a euphoria. And now you don't have that in front of you. And like you said, Jessica, you're doing master classes, you're learning as much info you can inside without affecting yourself. But obviously being inside too long, it can really take a toll on you. So you know how has it helped, or has it kind of like make you feel like, dang, will I ever get back into this world? How do you balance it out?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, so um like how has it affected my mental health?
Yeah.
Like, it's like being in the house
Yeah.
a lot. Um well, yeah, definitely it's more of a challenge to stay productive because you're in your house, you have your bed, and for me it's being very challenging just keeping myself productive. And it's been a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out what's the best way to keep myself like with a good mental health, and just trying to get out, probably like taking for a run or on a bike and just refreshing my mind. But it's definitely sometimes frustrating that there's not a lot happening. Like there's not like we don't there's not a lot of sets or shoots going
Mm-hmm.
on because because of the whole situation. So it's going slow, and that's been challenging.
Just trying to stay focused and trying to
Yeah,
stay on task when you really just want to crawl into your bed, maybe turn on the
yeah.
TV, until you fall asleep or something. I say that because I'm guilty of it. I get that's why I'm asking this question because we all work in the media entertainment realm. It's hard. We all thought this was going to go past in like maybe a month or so. And here we are, almost a year later. Same thing with you, Kalia. I know you're young, and I know this is your first project, but I'm guessing you are starting to work on some other stuff, to get yourself going. How do you stay motivated? And I'm pretty sure you're doing school from home too, right? You're doing online schooling right now.
Yeah, I've been doing school remotely for a while, and it's just kind of weird. Doing everything is virtual now,
Yeah.
and it's just been kind of weird. And yeah, for me, it's been hard for me to like stay productive with everything. Um, but I've been trying my best to um, stay productive and keep going.
And be Monét, because you were like, "Ooh, come back to me." So I already know.
It, I'm just, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, is this ever gonna end? Like it's done a number on me, and just in the sense of like, yeah, just like trying to stay productive, trying to be like, okay, am I gonna get another job? Like sometimes it's just like all
Mm-hmm.
these things just kind of just weigh on your psyche.
Right.
I'm a very independent and autonomous person, so to be back with family is like a blessing, but also a lot at times. So it's just like the girl is just trying to hold on. Like I love Clubhouse actually because it helps me to have these organic, beautiful conversations with people who are also experiencing the same things, and
Mm-hmm.
we're helping to keep each other accountable. So for me, Clubhouse has been kind of a godsend in a way because I'm very much a person who likes to, chat with people, and it's just weird to just not have, the outside world open. So I'm like always like trying to find ways to connect with people organically, and I love the fact that we're doing this. And yeah, just have like also bought some photography books to just kind of keep myself energized and inspired through this all, and try to watch, films from different countries, and just, stay in it, as Jessica was saying. Just, you know,
Stay focused. Stay
yeah.
focused. And I totally understand that. I totally get it. I'm not even gonna go into my own thing because this is about you guys. Um, and I really applaud you for sticking through, finishing your projects, putting yourself out there continuously, even when things are uncertain, and staying strong because so many of us are not on that same path. When you're enclosed in a space, and you're trying to stay safe when the rest of the world doesn't seem to want to do the same thing, it's kind of hard to, like you said, stay focused, stay on that path, stay on track, do your thing. And so as we close out, you ladies have been wonderful with your questions, very open, very transparent. What any words of advice do you have for that inspiring young girl that wants to get into filmmaking? I'm going to start with you, Kalia, because you are the youngest on the panel, and you're already out there doing your thing. So if you have any words, share it with us, 35 and older too. I mean,
I guess I just say, don't give up. Just be creative with what you have and do whatever you can with all the resources that you have, and just believe in yourself. As long as you have a goal or something in mind, you can do it.
Jessica.
Yeah, so for me, it's very similar to like Kalia said. To whenever you have a vision for
Speak up
something.
just a little bit because you're
Oh,
low. Yeah.
okay. Can you hear me well now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Uh, So just whenever you have a dream to create something, just stick to it. Believe on yourself. Believe that you are capable of figuring out, finding the way on how you're gonna make it. And whenever you feel like giving up on something that you really you really desire on accomplishing, just know that that's just part of the process, and it means that you're on the right way because it's helping you grow. Something that is challenging and that is hard and that it makes you feel like you're not qualified, it's where you need to be, because that's what's gonna make you grow and what's gonna take you to the place with the right connections and the right people.
Nice. And lastly, B Monet.
Yes, I'm sorry I had to put it on mute because I wasn't sure if you all were hearing the shoving outside, like shoving the driveway.
Oh.
But I wanted to say that you deserve to be here, because I think so many people of color don't think that they're deserving to be in this space because they don't see themselves. So that's the one thing of just making sure that that is your anchor, that you're telling yourself and living and breathing in that, like, I deserve a seat at the table, I deserve to be here, my stories matter. And really paying it forward. I'm just a big person of, like, mentoring other people, bringing on folks who might be younger than you, who might want to shadow you, um, you know sending resources, sending grants, apply to everything under the sun. I did like so many short films in film school and after, because at the end of the day I just wanted to keep on getting better at the craft. So even if you have an iPhone, don't be afraid to use that until you can get to the point where you can maybe get a DSLR and then go to a rental company. Like, there are levels to this, and I think just enjoying the levels at every process is really important, because you're not going to always be a baby filmmaker. You're not going to always be, if you keep at this. So I think that there's beauty in kind of the unknowing, and just trusting yourself through this process, and trust the journey. I'm trying to. I'm still learning.
Definitely understand that one. Trust the journey, trust the process, as they say. Well,
Yeah.
ladies, thank you so much. Before we official, oh, you got something else to say, Jessica? Go
Me
ahead.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So, well, I just want to add something because I think it's very meaningful that we have like different ages representation. We have Kalia, which is the youngest one, and then myself, and then
Yeah.
Monét. So, like for me, it's just a representation of just we all have our own journeys, and we all going through different seasons in our lives. So, just part of it that myself have push me back is just comparing myself a lot to other people, to their process, and that's just so toxic to do. So another advice that I have is just trust your process and trust your journey, and you're never too young to achieve what you want to do, and you're never too old to dream something.
I love that. Yes, you're right. Better late than never, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, again, ladies, share your socials if you want to, for people that want to follow you, get to know you better, and follow your journey as you get ready to, maybe in the next year or so, release some new projects. Go ahead and
Yeah.
share your socials. And while you do that, I'm going to set up so we can take a picture at the end.
Yes, I was about to say, can we take a picture? Because I'd love to put it on IG.
Yes, I'm definitely
Um,
going to do that.
yes. Clubhouse, B dash Monet, on Twitter, B Monet official, on IG, direct her, like the pronoun B Monet. So you can find me on all those things. I'm around. And my website is b-monet.com. And if you want to send me an email there, please, let's continue this conversation and collaboration. So yeah.
Anybody else want to share theirs?
So my social for Instagram is at Jessica Films.
Jessica
Nice.
Films. And that's for everything: Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, that's for Instagram.
Okay. And then, Kalia, do you have social, or you just
Uh,
want people to watch your films?
I have my main the main thing I use is Instagram, which is the Power of Hope Film.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. We're gonna take one more picture.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
so excited.
I'm gonna do a
Every-
photo. I got you up in the corner right here, just so in case y'all looking like, where is the photo at?
You have to turn around on mine because I can't wait to post this. And I'm so happy to know you both. Like, this is great. I can't wait to see your films and what you do next. And keep going, please.
All right. So here we go. Let's see. Ready, ladies? Got a 10-second, or we're just gonna take a couple of pictures at once.
Ah.
All right, ready? Here we go. And in 1, 2, 3. We'll take a couple of them. All right. And last one. There we go. All right, we got to do this virtually, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening. Make sure you're following these ladies on social and make sure you're watching their journeys, especially Kalia's, because I can see you doing really big things. You did animation, Jessica's film Endure, and B. Monet's Ballet After Dark. Matter of fact, I need to go watch these after we finish this panel so I can just sit and have a good day at home. I mean, I'm just saying. You got to watch stuff like this. You got to support young women that are doing really big things. Next year, guys, we hopefully will be back. Maddie will love us back, and we'll be back, and we'll have more people on the panel. And in the meantime, make sure you're staying safe, stay masked up, AZ, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Wait. I want a picture.
Okay. You want another
All
picture?
right,
You want me to take it?
everybody.
You gonna take it?
I'm going to take it.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody smile big. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yay.
You
Thank
gotta take
you.
this stuff. Bye, guys.